We all know what a major success Ninjago is. LEGO doesn't want you to ever forget it's the reason you're in debt. But what if that wasn't the case? Ninjago first launched in 2011 and is meant to end in 2013, being one of LEGO's many Big Bang themes that were meant to be around for at least 2 to 3 years, before being replaced with whatever else they came up with. Of course, we all know that Ninjago is too popular for its own good, with hundreds of fanboys kicking and screaming until LEGO saw the dollar signs and brought it back, cementing it into LEGO history as their most successful original theme. But what if those fanboys and fangirls, come on now, it's 2023, we need to be inclusive here, weren't that loud and whining for LEGO to bring Ninjago back, or Ninjago just simply didn't sell as well, like 2015 Bionicle? I'm truly a sucker for alternate universe kind of stories. Even if one thing is slightly changed, it interests me so much, so why don't we try and do our own? Let us try and imagine a universe where Ninjago did actually end in 2013, with LEGO's evil plan of replacing with Chima actually coming true. 2013 saw the launch of Ninjago's replacement theme, known as Legends of Chima, that actually turns 10 years old this year. That'd be 10 years of being a disappointment. Okay, looking back at Chima, it honestly isn't that bad. Sure, it's weird for basically being LEGO furries, but at its core, it's really not that bad. We're definitely too harsh on it just because it's meant to replace Ninjago. If you don't believe me, just go and at least listen to the soundtrack. It slaps incredibly hard. So hard it broke my jaw. Now let's imagine a world where Chima was the theme to go on for 10 years instead of Ninjago. What sets or seasons would we have gotten? By the time Chima ended, it had 3 seasons. 3 seasons I have not watched. Okay, I remember watching the majority of the 3 seasons. I just can't at all remember any of it. I just have a very faint memory of the final episode or second to last episode, and that's really it, so I can't exactly speculate on where the storyline could have went. With Chima having 3 seasons, that would place it right about at the rebooted time frame, meaning that season 4 could have been a tournament development style season. That is, if they just carried over all the ideas for Ninjago. How would a tournament development style season even work for Chima? They clearly don't have elemental masters. Maybe they could have introduced other types of chi that gave different powers, or I guess they could just find an undiscovered island with a new tribe. Maybe even a snake tribe, kind of dancing on Ninjago's grave there. After season 4, would presumably come a ghost themed wave. Guess they could throw Ninjago fans a bone this season like they did Chima fans in Possession. Instead of Lloyd showing up in Chima, they could have Lavelle pop up in Ninjago, showing that all the ninja are dead. I kind of really want to see what ghost Chima characters could look like, with their animal headpieces maybe getting a transparent treatment. I think the best way they could have handled a ghost story would have to be to actually have extinct animals / tribes be the ghosts, like a ghost dodo. I'm pretty sure this idea is similar to what happened in the 3rd season, with the Ice Tribe being resurrected dead animals, but sure, Ninjago repeated the same things over and over, and since Chima is taking his place, it should get the same pass. Moving on from the Possession inspired wave, we could have gotten a pirate season after. It would never be able to live up to Skybound. Really, my only idea for this kind of wave would be to get a parrot as an entire minifigure. Could be pretty funny putting it side by side on an actual LEGO parrot. The story could be something like the main character sailing across the sea and encountering a pirate-like tribe, being full of every kind of animal associated with pirates, like a parrot or a large fish I guess. A shark could actually be pretty cool to see in the Chima style. Now for the Hands of Time inspired wave, I think it would be really cool to have the antagonists of the season be dinosaurs. That's right, just plain old fucking dinosaurs. Whether that be minifigure designs or larger pieces like Jurassic Park, I think this second option would be way cooler and way funnier to get. Seeing these tiny animal figures fighting building-sized hyper-realistic dinosaurs would be hilarious. Or they could just do snakes like Ninjago did. For Chima's 8th season, it would be hilarious to see them keep the Sons of Garmadon idea, with fast-themed animals rocking leather jackets and sick speedos. Just imagine a cheetah minifigure cruising down the forest in a black leather jacket along with a falcon figure. You know, maybe we do need Chima back. Moving on to Chima's hunted equivalent, they could have made a dragon tribe, keeping something from Ninjago alive, with the dragon tribe I suppose being the most hostile and hunting down the rest of the Chima characters. Now for the 10th season of Chima, they won't be fighting their version of a demon tribe or whatever the Oni would be, they'll instead be fighting a tribe of ninja, a bit of meta humor. They wouldn't even be animal themed ninja, just random and regular people wearing ninja outfits. I think it'd be pretty fitting for the 10th season for them to kill Ninjago again. Ninjago's 11th season was of course the Fire and Ice chapter, which Chima already did, so let's just skip right past it and enter the gaming section with whatever video game Chima would do. If they went with a video game idea, they absolutely would have to have a blue hedgehog character, It's just too easy of a reference. Seeing a Sonic-like character in this style would be pretty horrifying to see, to be honest. Close enough. Following Ninjago's example, a night-themed wave would be next. Could be interesting to see how they merge the Chima headpieces with night helmets, with the season having a more magical focus. For Chima's island counterpart, they could have introduced tribes that could control the elements themselves, basically being their version of an elemental master, which would then be continued into the Seabound Inspired wave, where it'd certainly be interesting how they fit this thing into a scuba suit. This then leads us to the final Ninjago season to Chimafy, being crystallized. I suppose for this they could just feature one member of each villainous tribe, like the snake tribe we spoke about earlier, and of course a fucking dinosaur. Now we come to the end of Chima's imaginary success with the 10-year anniversary of 2023. To celebrate this occasion, I guess they would just do what they did for Ninjago and make the main Chima characters in gold, each coming with a golden cheek piece. And so that ends our little talk about what if Chima was actually successful and outlived Ninjago. But we're not quite finished, as there's another theme that came after Chima, being LEGO Nexo Knights. Like I said earlier, Chima didn't really deserve all the hate and judgment it got, but Nexo Knights totally does. At least Chima had proper budget and effort put into it, while looking at Nexo Knights, it just doesn't feel the same. Everything from Chima was majorly cut down. Instead of receiving 3 excellent songs, Nexo Knights only got 1. Surprisingly though, Nexo Knights actually got 4 seasons, which really surprises me. Just like what we did with Chima, let's just imagine for a second that Ninjago was slain by Nexo Knights, becoming LEGO's new evergreen theme to dump all their ideas into. Since Nexo Knights ended at season 4, we get to start at their possession counterpart, which I feel like we already got with the final wave of sets that never received a season, with the villains having a ghostly green colour scheme and a ghoulish look to them, so let's just call this their possession. Nexo Knights was a very technology based theme, so every idea will have to have technology incorporated into it, such as the next being Techno Pirates. This could really just be the Sky Pirates we got from Ninjago, going against the Nexo Knights' futuristic appearance with their more steampunk technology, still keeping the theme of flying. For the Hands of Time season, I think it could be a neat idea to have it be a future versus past wave, with the Nexo Knights going against older style knights, featuring older style medieval weapons and tech, such as a trebuchet or even a goddamn guillotine. Dropping the blade and chopping off the figure's head could be a pretty cool play feature. We then could have gotten a biker wave for the theme, which would be funny to see them swap out the motorcycles with robot horses, or even just regular horses, gotta somehow keep it connected to that night theming. The antagonists would still totally wear leather jackets. I guess they maybe could be stable workers turned evil, because they are sick and tired of picking up all the horses' droppings, creating robot horses to take over or something else stupid that kids would actually like. I'm really not sure what could be done for Nexo Knights' 9th Hunted inspired wave. If they have established the 16 realms, I could see the Nexo Knights being tossed into a less advanced realm, basically just the Oni Dragon realm, with the Knights needing to overcome their reliance on modern tech to fight against the antagonist force of mechanical dragons. Again, you gotta keep Ninjago alive somehow. They could also do mechanical demon characters for the Oni, which I think could be more interesting to see. Just imagining something like this in a demon form. Following this, we would come to Nexo Knights' 10th season, which, just like Chima, I bring up the meta humor of the Nexo Knights fighting a regular ninja. Maybe these ninja can be a robot ninja or a digital virus of sorts, infecting the Nexo Knights and turning it into Ninjago 2. Next, we'd come to the Fire and Ice chapters, which could bring Nexo Knights back to its first wave. We already had fire/lava monsters in the first Nexo Knights season, so let's just do the ice part, with the Knights fighting off ice monsters. Could be cool to see them take a page out of Chima's book and make a big fig for this wave. Prime Empire is absolutely perfect for the Nexo Knights theme. You could basically carry everything over from Ninjago. Instead of going into a video game, you could say that the video game has taken over the Nexo Knights world instead. After Prime Empire would come a Master of the Mountain inspired season. This wave is very night inspired, which I guess makes this a night inspired Nexo Knights wave. I suppose they could have just thrown in the magic elements from this season. I don't think the Nexo Knights need even more knight armor. We're gonna skip over the island as Nexo Knights basically already got this, with the season 4 wave of lightning rock monsters. Maybe just throw them on an island for an episode to make island fans happy. This leads us onto a possible underwater seabound counterpart. Seeing mechanical squids and sharks could be really cool. A large robot sea serpent would also be great to see. Now we're here at what would have been Nexo Knights' most recent season, being whatever they would have called their crystallized wave. Just like Chima, they probably would have taken one antagonist from a few of the previous seasons to return for this one. And that brings us to the end of our make-believe situations of Chima and Nexo Knights actually being successful. Making this video gave me a chance to look back on these two themes, and as I've said before, they're honestly not that bad. Chima is my favourite out of the two, as it just has so much more in regards to the TV show. Nexo Knights does have some really good looking sets with some nice functions, but you could not pay me to watch the show. Actually, maybe you could. But at the end of the day, I'm glad that Ninjago was one to prevail victorious, as God knows my life would be incredibly different if Chima or Nexo Knights won the war. And just to think, that if Ninjago ended after 2013, this channel would have never existed. That actually sounds like the best reality.